Hey everybody, welcome back to Storytime with the Captain. And today's story, I made my mom cry. I'm not proud of it. I'm sorry, Mom. Years ago, this is a New Belgium 1985 IPA. It has mangoes and spices. Anyway, I must have been 13, 14 at the time, and I had a bad habit of going up to the bus stop. Our bus stop was probably like a half mile away, where all the neighborhood kids collected and catch the bus there. Well, and I had a bad habit of, if the bus isn't here in 20 seconds, and I'd count down. You could see the bus coming down the road, and actually it was at Rossi Motors in Niles, Ohio, McKinley Heights. And it was coming down Robbins Avenue, and you can look right up the damn road, up Cottage Market and McKinley Lanes. You can see it coming. It wasn't there. I walked home. Well, I did that a couple of times, and I can remember her crying in the kitchen. When I told her, I said, "Well, I didn't catch the bus. The bus wasn't there." And I can hear her crying. She says, "You're going to drive me crazy." I wasn't that. I did do some pretty bad things growing up when I got a little bit older. I mean, very bad things. But anyways, that was the one time. And then when I got older, I got into some trouble. I was looking at a felony charge, and my brother, working for the sheriff's department, got me to go back and on my own recognizance, released on my own recognizance, and all this other stuff. So anyways, well, shortly after that, my parents just because I was the second from the youngest, and we're like, I guess they were just like, we're not putting up with this crap anymore. We're selling a house. Everybody's got to move out. Well, it was me. I think my sister already moved out. Me, my younger brother, my older brother, and my older brother than him. So, well, they sold it to my older brother, and both of my older brothers, the one next one up, there were two sisters in between me and him. He was an ass, but the brother above him, he was a bigger ass. I'm saying ass to be polite. Anyways, he got the house under land contract, and what my parents did, they gave me and my younger brother $500 check. Go. So we had to move out. So I ended up leaving I think I left my stuff there, and we were going to get it. We were going to move it out or something. I can't remember. And we moved to a motel, and it was like $250 a week. And we were there for a few days, and then my older sister, everybody, I guess, got together and started talking to him, saying, "Hey, you should let him back. You should let him back," And I guess when I got home from work, because I walked, I didn't have a car. I walked to work, and I got into the thing, and there was a pizza in there. They bought a pizza and they put it in between the doors there, and they told us, yeah, he said you can come back, but you got to pay rent. All right. And I didn't have like me and my wife and our son now, we say I love you and this and that. I didn't have that growing up with my mom. I told her I loved her one time when my brother got stabbed, and we were by his friend. It was over a girl, got stabbed in the chest, and we were going to the hospital. I told her I loved her, and I think one other time I did. Well, anyways, but we didn't have that kind of film. I'd go up to my dad. I'd be like, "Hey, Dad, here, look at this, and he'd be like, "Uh-huh," and then that was it. That's all. That was all basically what it was. And my parents never fought. I'd never heard them argue. One time I heard my dad say at the table, dinner table or something, he said something, and he goes, well, I don't give a damn what you think. He was talking to my mom, and I was like, that was the most I ever heard them yell their voice at each other. They had a disagreement and something. Well, anyways, I moved back in, and my brother's like, oh, you got to pay rent and everything. I was like, all right, fine. So all of a sudden, he wants to be all Mr. Big Macho, you know. And I was young. I was being stupid too. Well, I think I was late on my rent. He goes, and what I found out is he was charging me rent, but nobody else rent. So I wrote something down on a piece of paper. He had a piece of paper there. He wrote, your rent is late. And I wrote down something, press hard with the pencil. Looked like he, you know, when the sky is blue, or the sky is green and the grass is blue or something. And he remembered that for years. He was just a drunk, you know, an ass. Just, he would come home and beat us. You know, come home from the bar, he'd be drunk and just beat us, you know, he was just an ass. He would beat me and my younger brother. I mean, he was older than us. I mean, he was like 10 years older than us, and we were like, you know, 12 years old. He'd come home and basically abuse us because he was drunk, an idiot. He didn't know how to handle his alcohol. That's what his problem was. I mean, I drink beer and everything like that. I enjoy beer. I hate to get drunk. I do not like to get drunk. I'll enjoy some beer, yeah, but I mean, everybody probably says, oh, you're just an alcoholic or whatever. You know, an alcoholic, you get up, you crack a beer, you drink it, and you go out to lunchtime, drink, and you come home, drink beer. That's a problem there. Me, I come home, I have a couple beers. You know, I'm not an alcoholic. I try different beers. But anyways, some people quite argue that. So anyways, so I wrote that on that piece of paper, and he ended up kicking me out. All right, so I took my stuff, and I was living at home. Yeah, I was still living. This was before he kicked me out. I used to walk to work. This is where I was getting with my mom. My mom used to give me a ride back and forth to work too. It was at a Japanese restaurant. I loved working there. I worked 4 hours in the morning and 8 hours in the afternoon. It was a great job. The owner gave me a key to the place. I opened up. I did whatever I had to do. You know, he was a great guy. It was Yamato's in Warren. They were in Niles, but now it's in Warren. I used to walk to work. It was like 2.5 miles every day. I'd walk to work. My mom used to take me in and stuff, but they moved out into the apartment. Well, I remember walking, and I know it probably hurt her. When I was in that hotel before I moved back in, I called her and asked her for help to fill out some paperwork to get on welfare or something. And I had no clue how to do anything. And she says, well, you just figure it out yourself. And then that was it. That broke my heart. That crushed me. I was like, I felt despondent. Like everybody gave up on me. You can always count on your mom. Now everybody gave up on me. So I was like, all right. So moved back in. I used to walk back and forth to work. And I remember seeing her one time. She tried it a couple of times, picking me up. She pulled the car up and honked the horn. And I just looked at her and I just kept on walking. And I know that probably hurt her bad. And I'm so sorry, Mom. And I know that probably hurt her. So I was like, that bothered me all these years. And I think she did it a couple of times, and then she never did it again. So I moved back in the house and like stuff, and then he said my rent was late, and I put that on that paper, and he ended up kicking me out. Well, by this time, you know, we were growing up and stuff. I was way bigger than my brother, my second oldest brother, way bigger than him. I mean, I was working out. I actually, at one time, I wanted to get into competition bodybuilding, but I was so insecure with scars on my body that I never did it. I never proceeded. I had people compliment me and say, hey, I didn't know you were in a bodybuilding. And she was a bodybuilder. And I mean, I'm not, been 35 years or whatever, but I had compliments and stuff, and you know, people complimented me, and I was, yeah, you should do it, you know, it's great, but I never did it. Never. But I was way bigger than my brother. I could have snapped him in half. Well, anyways, he kicked us out. He kicked me out. I ended up taking all my stuff across the street into my neighbor's yard and set it there. And when I was leaving, I had one of them exercise bars and them spring things, man. I was just going to town on that thing, man. I was, you know, and he had 2 cops there because he was scared of his safety. Yeah, he rightfully so, because I could have pummeled him into the ground. Well, I got my stuff and I went and I had my stuff over there. I had nowhere to go. I had nowhere to take it. I didn't have a car. I didn't have anything. I didn't have nothing. So I had a sleeping bag and I think a pillow. And I started walking up the street. I left my stuff there, started walking up the street. And I made it to a friend's house. And we went down and started, he ended up, his mom, he ended up being my best man at my wedding. And their mom and stuff we took my stuff and we took it to a friend's house and put it in her garage. And I was like, oh, this is it. So I started walking up the street from his house. He lived in the same neighborhood, and I started walking up, and there was a local, the neighborhood bar was there, and I walked by and I noticed there was a guy in there that their family owns a trucking company down the street in Girard, and he owned a little pool hall there with his dad. And I was talking to him, and I told him I was like kicked out of the house, I had no place to go, and he took me into his house, and I slept in the basement, and yeah, I slept in the basement. I was so thankful having a place to go, you know. And then I ended up going with my sister. The next day, I stayed with my sister until I got an apartment. I was staying with her, and I got my own apartment. And I still walked back and forth to work. It was about the same distance from where I was staying at, I imagine. Yeah, it was about the same distance, I'm thinking. And I stayed there for like, my mom, we ended up mending, you know, our differences with my mom and stuff, and I seen them all the time. I would go over their apartment and everything with my mom and dad, and we'd laugh and everything, but I never forgot that. I stayed with her for about 5 weeks, I think it was. Got my own apartment, and I was like, it's a studio apartment. It was $255 a month. And I was like, holy crap, all I'm going to be doing is sleeping here. I work 4 hours in the morning, 8 hours. She goes, that's life. And that was it. So my mom ended up helping me out a couple of times with, you know, like a phone, or you get the electric bill or whatever. And I stayed there for about 2.5 years, and what did I do? I stopped over at my friend's, talking to my friend, and she says, I was riding my bike, and I stopped over her house in my old neighborhood across the street, and she says, I know somebody that you would want to talk to. I want to hook you up with somebody. And she worked with her at a nursing home, and that's when I was at home, and then she called, and I was talking to her, my friend, and then she gave the phone to my now wife, and we started talking, and she came over to my apartment, and I still remember to this day exactly what she was wearing, and we hit it off ever since. And thank God, because I've done a lot of stupid stuff in the 27 years of being married. Yeah, we're married over 27 years now. I've done a lot of stupid things, and thank God she stuck by me. She forgave me for all my stupidity and everything, and gave me a son, and I just, and thank God for it. But and you know, got an apartment together. We got an apartment. Got married. Yeah, I was staying at the apartment. Got married. We have about a year later. We had our son, and it was great. It's great. Been great ever since. I couldn't ask for a better wife. I couldn't. There's nobody out there that could possibly be as thoughtful and caring as my wife now, and helpful and forgiving and just as my wife now. She's awesome. So we move into a couple different places, and we pay off a mortgage, and we move here. We got another mortgage, and we'll be paid off pretty soon anyways. And that's it. That's my story. I made my mom cry, and I will never forget that. But we were never a close family, like, hey, I love you, hey, take care or whatever. But my oldest brother, I remember him growing up one time, and I was in an argument or something. I did something, and I just started walking to the woods, and that's all I would do, just go walk through the woods. And he was yelling at me, come back here, come back here, come back here. And later on that day, or a couple days later, he found me. He caught me at home, and he didn't come up to me and start smacking me around and beating me. This is my oldest brother, the one who works for the sheriff's department. He sat down and talked to me. He goes, now why did you do that? Why did you walk away? And I says, I don't know. And I think what I did, I didn't want to talk to anybody. I just mad. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I just wanted to be alone. I didn't want to face my, why I was walking away or whatever I did. I can't remember what I did, but I never forgot him. I never forgot that. That was really nice, I thought that was great. There's certain times in my life that I will never forget that day. And another one, this is my last one, I promise. Another one is, I had a good friend I hung around with all the time. We hung around together all the time. And if he's ever watching this movie, in his video, he knows who he is. D, I'll call him D. And his sister, Diane, and her boyfriend, Bob. Great people. I love them two. He is so cool. A really great guy. And my wife actually sees him at her work once in a while. And we run into him once in a while at Walmart. Just two great people. I love them too. I remember getting into a fight with my brother, my younger brother. We got into a brothers fight and stuff. And I was just so damn mad, upset about it. I went over to their house, and I was just standing there and just so mad. And Bob was there, and Diane was there, and I was just so mad. And she says, you need a hug. And she came up to me and gave me a hug. I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that. That made me feel better. It made me feel... Nobody ever did that. Nobody ever did that in my life. I'll never forget Diane and Bob for that. Two great people. They're some of my favorite people on this planet of Earth. And yeah. So there you go. That's my story, and I got tons of stories about stupid stuff that I've done and stuff, but that's about it. I'll never forget making my mom cry, and my brother yelling at me, and Diane giving me that hug, and that was great. Anyways, there you go, folks. Enough of this crap, and I will see you in the next video. If you want to watch my videos, some of my videos, I got, my regular subscribers know who I am. And I got all stupid skits and funny stuff and dumb stuff that I do and how-to stuff and just, whatever, anything I think of and I think would be a good video. Maybe someone might get something out of it. Someone might get a laugh out of it. Someone might say, you're an idiot. Well, don't tell me that. I already know that. So there you go. And I say thanks for watching. And remember, know your limit. Cheers.